Amendment. It's the day after Valentine's Day, so I have a poem. I'm a horrible poet, but we're gonna go with this one. Roses are red, violets are blue. I can still carry because I love you and me too. Yay! As Cheryl said, I am a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. And I am here today to tell you that gun rights are victims' rights. I'll take it one step further. Dear Moms Demand Action, please listen closely. Gun rights are women's rights too. I went and testified on Thursday for a law that would further protect us, which would eliminate gun-free zones at government buildings. And the reason why I went and spoke about this is because I used to work for Councilman DeCiccio at the city of Phoenix, and then there was one evening where I left work late. I was working hard for all of our constituents, and there was a homeless man that was having a mental health episode standing in our parking garage on the stairway. And he was just at the length where he could get to the elevator or block me on the stairway, both ways. And he kept charging at me and going to attack me. I was unarmed. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I am someone that's already faced violence. I have trained to protect myself in the public, but our government disarmed me. Some people haven't been able to relate to being a survivor of domestic violence. I'll tell you briefly what it's like. Every day when I pull up to my house, I have to look to see if there's anything out of order. I have to see if my dogs are approaching the fence in a normal way. And if I see anything out of order, I have to go inside and do a sweep of my house. Every single room, every nook and cranny. When I'm out and about, I constantly have to be aware of who's around me in case my abuser is there. Because after 7 years of having left him, he still contacts me several times a year. But he's become crafty. He's learned how to just passive-aggressively threaten me so that I can't get an order of protection against him. He never attacked me with guns, and that's the great fallacy. You see, the anti-gun zealots, I call them anti-gun bigots. They really like that word. The anti-gun bigots, they like to use people like me to disarm all of you. Moms Demand Action said last week, we don't need a bunch of crazy cowboys running around our city. Here's our cowboys and our cowgirls. Make some noise. Let me know you're here. I gotta tell you, I feel the safest the entire year. I'm pretty sure if there's my abuser or anyone that sexual assaulted me in the audience, I'm pretty much good. You know when I didn't feel safe? When I was working at the city of Phoenix and couldn't carry my weapon and had to cross the street at night in the dark every single day. Gun control laws hurt victims the most. Red flag laws have been designed to be weaponized against people like me. Because the only thing that needs to happen is someone needs to wage some false accusation against me, anonymously, and now I'm disarmed for a month. It's open season on my life. Mom Demands Action said last week, I don't represent them. No, you don't, because you constantly are trying to risk my life and my safety and the safety of everyone in this audience. The thing that we should be focusing on, because I don't want violent people to be able to have access to a gun and kill me, but someone that's truly violent. Not all of us. We're here to protect our communities. And the thing is if we really cared about violence, we would be focusing on the nature of violence and helping to heal those people. Most people that are violent because they suffered trauma or abuse when they were young. And we don't address that. In fact, we make people as a society sometimes feel bad for getting the help that they need. Or we create a government that weaponizes against them, so now they're afraid to tell the challenges that they're facing. That's wrong. That's immoral. And that is what needs to change. Disarming the people that protect us in the community protects us when there's a crisis, when there's a public execution, when there's a public suicide. That is what these gun attacks have been. And we don't have time to wait for the police. We need to be able to be armed. We need to be able to be trained. We need to be able to protect our community. That is why we have the Second Amendment, in addition to protecting us from our government. When I got my order of protection, the judge was crystal clear with me. He said, this is just a piece of paper. Guess what? Gun-free zones are just a piece of paper. It's just a sign. And he said, don't count on this to protect you. It won't. Make sure you go and get a gun. This is what the judge told me. Get a gun and learn how to use it. I now have multiple guns and I know how to use all of them. This here is an extended magazine from the gun that I can still carry with, P365. It holds 12 rounds. This is not an assault magazine. This is a magazine so that my pinky can rest on my gun and make sure I hold it properly.
That's a regular magazine.
Senator Rebecca Rios. Now wait, I do like her style. She has nice clothes. She wants to ban this and ban my concealed carry gun because it has 12 rounds. That's anti-woman. I need this for my pinky. And if you're gonna ban that, that makes my gun less safe. Until you are able to provide private security for every single one of us and guarantee we will never have a government that eliminates any single one of our rights or steals from us via taxation, we need a Second Amendment. The Democrats have shown, and I want to make this clear, there are Democrats in this audience right now that are afraid to come out of the closet. There are independents right now that are afraid to come out of the closet. Support them. You are all part of our community to protect the Constitution and protect America. And I'm here to tell you to check every single politician before you vote for them and make sure they are not going to infringe on our rights. Because if they are passing laws that are gun control laws, if they are not passing laws to focus on the nature of violence, they are lying to you. And do not vote for them. In fact, if they are currently your representative, take them out via the means of the next election. This election is the election of our lifetime because we are barely holding on to our Second Amendment in Arizona. We are barely holding on to it at the city of Phoenix. So make sure that you activate and make sure that you start voting. And if you're not registered to vote, go to the table to register to vote and start supporting the candidates that will support your Second Amendment. Gun rights are victims' rights and gun rights are women's rights. Thank you all.